everybody. You know what time it is every Tuesday night at 8. Another exciting and insightful edition of the MCW cast. I'm Legacy, MCW Pro announcer, Larry Legend.
MCW promoter, Dan McDevitt.
And I'm Tara. Welcome to the cast. This is episode 50.
Wow.
Almost at a year.
Yeah, I know, in stereo there.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear the number 50, it reminds me of one of my first matches in MCW back in the day against Slick 50, which was Tim Burke pretending to be you. You remember we put him in your MCW?
I don't remember.
God, I don't remember this either.
Well, I mean, it was like literally my second match ever. And what we were doing was we were swerving the fans, and I was like, I'll get into the ring with Tim Burke, and I'll fight him. And then you came out. It was supposed to be you, like with a mask on, giving me an easy match. But then in the middle of the match, Tim revealed that, oh, it's not Dan McDevitt dressed up like Slick 50. It's me. And he gave me the business right there in the North Point Flea Market.
I don't remember.
Was I on that show?
So this was during the time that we were absorbing MEWF. MCW had closed down, and we were invading MEWF shows. And
we were there for this.
There was a power struggle between you and Tim Burke.
Yeah.
Derek Wayne and Buzz Stryker jumped ship, and they were like helping you out. They were like your goons, and So some way or other, we got into a thing where Tim Burke was like, I want you, Larry. I want you. I want you in this ring. And the people were like, yeah, beat him up, beat him up, Timmy. And then we did the match, and I'm in the ring waiting for Tim to come down, but it's masked. It's a masked wrestler, and he had your MCW jacket on, your Letterman's jacket. So the fans and me, we all were like, oh, that's just Corporal Punishment underneath there. And we know Larry is Corporal Punishment's boy. Nothing's going to happen. And we started working, and it's like just silliness. And then all of a sudden, Tim does the big shh to the crowd, and he lifts up the mask, and they see that it's him underneath it. And then he puts it down. He fires me in, and then starts really firing up on me. And I'm like selling like cornet and everything. Like, what's going on? Gives me a big Samoan drop and pins me. But whenever I hear the number 50, I think of my second match against Slick 50, which was Tim Burke impersonating you.
Wow. I feel very certain that we were there for this. Like, because I remember this storyline. Like, I remember all of this. Like, I remember doing those shows where the whole takeover thing and the absorption. Like, I remember it.
Yeah.
And it sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll never forget it because it was pretty much my second match. My first match was against Mark Schrader on the pier of Hard Rock Cafe, and that was like
right. I remember that.
Okay, and then my second match was against Slick 50. And as with any time that I took bumps, you came right up to me in the back, Tara, and you were like, Larry, that was so well done. You were like, you're so fluid out there. And I'm like, thank you, So I'll never forget things like that.
I feel terrible that I don't remember the actual match, but I do remember, like, as you talked about, I do remember the storyline. Like, I definitely remember the angle. Like, I remember bits and pieces of it. I just, this was before the days of having, the TV in the locker room and stuff like that.
Before our Flashback Fridays days.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Where, we maybe would have had this as a Flashback Friday.
I wish we could have some
of these
things.
Probably not. Well,
some of them are Flashback Friday worthy. However, the quality of the old VHS tapes probably has not survived the test of time. But some of them were good. Not all of them. There's definitely a whole section of the library that should stay in the vault. But,
buried.
Yes. Definitely, for sure. We had quite an interesting cast of characters. But, you mentioned Flashback Friday, and the Flashback Friday we have for you this week is from 2016 at Collision Course, and it was Lio Rush, Sanjay Dutt, and DJ Z.
Wow.
So that is definitely one not to stay hidden. That one is a good one.
Leave it to John to find all the Lio Rush matches to get us 50,000 extra hits on the YouTube page.
I mean, not just a Lio Rush match. That is a gem if he's in there with DJ Z and Sanjay Dutt. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine how spectacular of a match that was.
Sanjay's retired now. Is he is he an agent?
So, yeah, but he's an agent for AEW. So he was an agent for WWE. And then I guess WWE kind of let him go with one of their rounds of letting people go. And I just saw him backstage on AEW during a pull apart.
Oh,
really?
In the suit. And I'm like, wow, Sanjay's then moved on.
I didn't even know. I thought he was in WWE.
I had to look at my TV over and over again and go, is that Sanjay? That's Sanjay. And like rewind it, you know? But yeah, Sanjay was backstage. I think it was something with Eddie Kingston and those the 2.0 fellas from Canada. They threw a hot cup of coffee in his face, and Eddie gets up. He's going for him, and the agents swarm in. We keep our eagle eye open for some students back there that maybe get an opportunity. But I saw Sanjay, and I'm like, whoa, Sanjay's in AEW. Who knew?
Huh. Was that wasn't the last time he was in MCW, was it? 2016. He was there.
He wrestled Ryan McBride in Waldorf.
Right.
He also.
That's right. I remember.
He
But
also
that
was.
may have been around
That
that
must have
time.
been 2016 as well, I think.
I also believe
Yeah.
he was a participant in the 2016 Cup. Because, I would come back just for the
Right.
Cup. And I remember specifically announcing
So
him,
you
the
did.
original player from
Okay.
the Himalayas. It's fun to say.
Yeah, we had him for a few shows.
Yeah.
But it must have been 2016, the last time we had him.
Probably.
Okay.
Talk about someone who can never dissipated in their ability to go. You
No.
know, like just never. You consistently knew you were getting pretty much above average fight when Sanjay was in one corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really talented guy.
Indeed. Well, speaking of really talented guys, how about last week's episode with Killian McMurphy right
Yeah.
here in the studio? I'm sorry I wasn't here.
Yeah, we missed you. It was very interesting.
Killian's an interesting guy.
He is a lot of fun, a lot of sides to his personality. So it was really good getting to sit down and chat with him and also do his big premiere video at the end of the episode. So we did something a little bit different, and we aired his big GD cinematic episode at the end. A Christmas episode,
Right on.
mind you. I love everything festive. So yeah, it was really cool.
Well, that's just spectacular. Like I said, I wish I could have been here with you to pick his brain.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you to all the viewers out there that tuned in last week and joined in on the chat and liked and shared. And remember, subscribe.
That's right. Either on Facebook or YouTube, and also, of course, the major podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Breaker, and Castbox. All of those, you can follow us there and stay up to date every time we drop a new episode.
Very good. That was, and I guess this is going to be a little bit different this week. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
so much a guest in studio with us the whole time, but a pre-show, because in 48 hours, that's it.
That's the last call.
Last call at the MCW
Yeah.
Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the MCW Arena, stars have been born here. And we've had so many great memories and so many memorable matches. And those stars that were made here at the MCW Arena, several have gone on to do lots of great things. And before we move on to last call, I just want to call out for a second some of our students and wrestlers who have made their way to some other promotions and we've seen on TV lately. Last week was Amber Rodriguez,
Yeah.
former MCW Women's Champion, and Khan.
On Dark.
Yeah, on AEW Dark.
Yeah.
Earlier in the month, we had Kakoa, Erica Lee, who just made her MCW debut, Joe Keys. There have been several people that have come walking down that stage and ramp here at the iconic MCW Arena who have made their way onto a television set.
And don't forget about, Joe Keys, Dante Caballero, Ken Dixon,
Oh, yeah.
Eric Martin, all on Ring of Honor television
That's right.
the last couple weeks as well.
And even some of our newer students. I just was watching JCW's free YouTube stream, and they did a battle royal, first entrant in, Action Andretti. And I thought it was significant that he wasn't just a guy in the battle royal. Battle royals are like all a mesh of flesh. But he was the number one entrant, which meant he got a little bit of time to shine and actually work, kind of like a little 3-minute match there, which sometimes that's all you get. So it was great to see Action get a little shine time in another company as well.
Yeah, seeing him pop up on a lot of videos,
Yeah.
seeing his face on a lot of posters.
Well, he's such a handsome guy. Also, not just handsome. I know that Larry Legend, not just handsome. Really kind of like ethnically vague, which is very marketable right now. If you watch commercials and TV, a lot of the times, not that it matters, but you're like, that person's a little kind of exotic. I wonder what they are, So I think that maybe other promoters are seeing the marketability of a person that looks like that. That can get the applause from, maybe portions of the minorities that are joining, as well as, non-people of color.
We've talked on here before about how important representation is.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether that's, being a person of color, being a female in this business, any LGBTQ plus, any of those things, having representation and seeing someone who looks like you is important. And I think that you're right, there's a danger of it kind of being like a novelty act or something. You're like,
Right.
oh, that person's exotic. Let's book them. Let's push them. But I think, too, it speaks to more of just a societal change where we want to have a reflective, an inclusive community,
That's exactly the word that I was making that hand gesture for. We want to
I do.
include.
It's like our own
not
ASL. I
exclude,
got you.
right?
Inclusive.
You know what I meant. Yeah, yeah.
I did.
So, actions. I'll tell you, I know it's a few weeks removed, but the Final Battle pay-per-view, a lot of ROH guys down there, doing the security and pull-aparts and things like that. So those are all honing your skills. It wasn't that long ago that Leo Rush was doing kind of like that type of role for ROH before eventually he was entered into the top prospect tournament and won the damn thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. And of course, Leo's first match was here at the MCW arena.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he learned how to wrestle. Took his first bumps here.
Yep.
But talking about like historical moments at the MCW arena, we just had about a month ago a television crew from England come down.
Oh my.
And filmed an interview with Kevin Eck. They spent the whole day filming an interview for Kevin Eck because this is the building that the last Piper's Pit happened. And they're doing a series of documentaries, this station over in England.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think 3 they said. Roddy Piper, Andre the Giant, and one more. They're going to be like hour-long documentaries on the life and career of these like icons.
Yeah, for
of
sure.
wrestling and pop culture in a sense, and they wanted to film. They wanted to interview Kevin in the building where this happened, since really it's from professional wrestling standpoint in general as an industry, a historic moment. The last Piper's Pit ever happened right here.
A lot of the times in our industry, we hear these kind of terms thrown around that are usually reserved for church about a building being hallowed ground. And those are the types of things that make, venues kind of like a lot more than just a flea market. Leo Rush's first match, the final Piper's Pit, one of Joni, China's last appearance.
And Mean Gene.
And Mean Gene. All right here.
They made their last public appearances here.
And that's like, if you hear that term thrown around in the wrestling industry, MSG is hallowed ground, or, some venue is hallowed ground. That's what makes the venue hallowed ground, to know that some of the icons that really paved the way for us to even get involved stepped foot in here, held these microphones, wrestled in that ring. And wow, it kind of makes me a little misty-eyed when we think of Last Call, closing doors, finally to that ring that I've been in. Danny Mays, Albert, the late great Al Albert, you
don't think about it, as this every year, like with what we do, it's, everything's so hectic from one show to the next. Like it's all this stress and anxiety leading up to a show. And then it starts all over again the next day, getting ready for the next show. And like that happens and happens and happens and happens over and over, and years go by, almost a decade.
Yeah.
And then like we get word of this, of the direction we have to head, and the unfortunate news about, the building, and we have to leave. And then you kind of stop and go, whoa. I'd never thought about all those moments until we started going, wow, well, this is it.
Well, Dan, remember the birthday party for my friend Tiffany?
Yeah.
And Mason, and Xander.
Xander, they had the very first birthday party of May 30th.
That's what really got the ball rolling with us, securing this building and opening back up the school.
Yeah.
It was never supposed to be anything more than one show.
Right. I remember that, and because it was when RJ came back. And that... I think about that night, and, he had been away and he made his return. And I just think that changed so much, because then he was on board with the school, and he, so I think like not just on a personal level, but I feel like that just was the catalyst that really change things and set the trajectory, and like I'm emotionally attached to this building. Like, we literally built the walls. Like, I can show you the walls I painted. Like, we like everybody did their, we did the hard work. We did like the labor, you know what I mean? And so like I'm physically invested in the building, not just, from that, but there's all those memories that go with it.
So that you mentioned that what Leo Rush came back as a surprise at our last show, Seasons Beatings, and he did that. That all happened at at the 11th hour, like a day or so before, and it was because he had reached out and he wanted to be at Last Call once we made the announcement and everything, but he's going to be traveling. So he's like, man, I really don't know how I feel about like not being able to have one last match there.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what are you doing Saturday, bud?
Right?
And it was like on like Thursday. So like he changed his schedule, got a plane ticket, and came in as a surprise. And it was really cool because it was a real moment.
Oh,
like,
God, yeah.
Just if you understood and you there, like I was up on the like deck.
I was next to you.
I was in the crowd.
Yeah,
I
was
like to
next
go
to
out
Dan.
You could
moments
feel
like that.
it.
Yeah.
You could feel the people that was real
Yeah.
love and emotion. And then so after the show, he was signed a bunch of stuff, and I went out in the front where he was still signing after the show, and just was like, hey man, I didn't really get a chance to talk to you. Just wanted to
Who does
and
in this
say
state
thanks.
of age, like.
And he says, and he hugs me, and we tell each other, I love you too. And he steps back and he goes, man, looking around this building like today, he was like, when I came in, he said, I was thinking about so much, and one thing that came to mind, and I'm thinking he's going to say something about wrestling or whatever, and he goes, when you and RJ told us we had a mandatory meeting that we had to be here for, and we got down here and you guys had like 30 cans of black paint and a bunch of rollers and sticks. You know what I mean?
You worked them. Yeah, this is the mandatory meeting. Get the work.
And we were all painting the walls.
Welcome to paying
And
your
I
dues.
said,
Right.
yeah. I
But
said,
the thing
I
is,
said,
we did it alongside them. We got right there and painted the walls with them.
But
we
I
did.
I just laughed. I said, is that what we did? He said, yeah, you and RJ. I didn't remember. I was like, did we really? He said, yeah, you and RJ.
That
It was
sounds
a
about right.
mandatory meeting.
Yeah.
We completely did.
Yeah, that was. But I just laughed because felt like it was getting emotional.
Yeah. And then
he
it's
goes,
like he takes a swerve and it's
takes a
like,
swerve
yeah,
and talks
we were
about
painting.
me and RJ tricking him into coming down and painting the walls black with all the students. But we all did jump in.
Right.
We did.
Right.
We did.
I had for weeks. I had like black paint in my nose. I was
It's
coughing
under
it
my
out.
nails. I had it on both my
Because
elbows.
we
It was
used just
everywhere.
not only it was so much black paint. We got cases of spray paint that we used to do the studs.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
metal studs. It was literally like it was for weeks. I was like coughing and hacking up black paint. I should have been wearing masks then.
Yeah. You all should
I
have.
mean, it was bad. It was like for weeks. I just couldn't stop hacking up black paint.
I believe
but
that.
we got it done, and here we are.
And that's the thing. Wrestling, we put our heart and soul into all of it. Like, not just, from when the bell rings and the lights go on, but like just making this not just a building. We made it literally the home of MCW.
Yeah.
And that I think is pretty powerful, and we have fans who have regular seats, like they have PSLs, like at the stadium, like it'll be weird to be in a different venue and not look out and see, the same people sitting in their same regular seats and looking for the familiar signs and where's Bobby Harris and you know what I mean? Like they'll still come, of course, but some of these buildings that we're running, which I'm excited about this because we're getting to try out new formats and different things, in some of these newer buildings that we're going to run at, but it kind of changes the dynamic, of maybe there's not four sides, for ringside, like things like that, which it's exciting, but at the same time, it'll be like, oh, kind of weird. Like, where's my section over there,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, change is inevitable. And
It
as is said in another company that I work for, we roll with the punches.
We sure do.
And with that said, we got Last Call on deck. Okay?
I know.
And it's going to be an exciting night of live pro wrestling like only MCW Pro can present.
And two fan favorites will be facing each other in an MCW Rage TV title match. I'm talking about Kakoa and Brandon Scott. Those two, both of them have been MCW favorites here through the years.
And they had a really memorable final to the Shamrock Cup a couple years ago. Those two had good chemistry together. So I think, there's a lot of our matches on our shows, I think you can say possible show stealers, but this is definitely one. the fans. I'm not sure which way the fans are going to want to go because
I
the
know.
fans love them both.
That's what's going to be interesting because who are they going to root for? Like, I feel like it'll be one of those back and forth chants.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes down to the final moments of the match, I can totally see the echoes of, Brandon and Kakoa going back and
let's
forth.
go Brandon.
Yes, but in a good way. Yeah.
I see what you did.
I'll tell you one thing. If Brandon wants to take the step in the right direction, and I think we all know what that direction is, maybe he needs to get himself a manager, like how Andy Weinberg is with Ryan McBride, and I will volunteer to watch his back in this match.
You know what? I mean, Brandon's. But here's the thing about that. You have baby faces that are like baby faces forever. Like the fans have never stopped. Yeah, I got to give him that. The fans have never gotten. In my opinion, I think they've always been behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he needs to get a little bit more aggressive. He's a great wrestler, and I have to tell you, I've never seen him have a bad match. On my mama, I've never seen Brandon Scott have a bad match. But I feel like he's missing just one little intangible, just like Paul Heyman was for Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he needs. And I'm not necessarily saying it should be Andy Weinberg.
No, I've actually got somebody in mind.
Okay. Well, you are on the championship committee, so I know that you have the ear of the president of wrestling, General Manager Phil Stamper. Mm-hmm. So I'll be interested to see what you got cooking up there.
As long as you're not suggesting we bring in Paul Heyman.
Well, I don't think we can afford him, but he might be looking for work.
I think we'll go in a different direction.
Indeed.
I feel confident in saying that.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's a toss-up between who's going to win this one. Both the credentials, former Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup winner, former MCW champion, current Rage TV champion. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a banger.
Yep. And the show is also going to bring back someone we have not seen in several years here in MCW, and I'm talking about Veda Scott.
Oh, my goodness, Veda.
She will be returning. Yeah, it's been a while, right?
It's been a while.
I'm so glad. Like, Veda's so great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
When I wanted to really start putting a focus on the women's division again, really make the women's division mean something, she was one of the first person I thought about, reached out to. She's booked so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's booked so much, and then she's in Canada.
Yeah.
A lot with her boyfriend.
Speedball Mike Bailey.
Who
I believe is going to be able to be back in the United States very soon.
Was it because of COVID that he was?
No, it was because of that thing where sometimes the Canadian wrestlers say, oh, I'm coming to visit friends and family, but they actually are working when they need to apply for...
Oh, a different visa.
Yeah. See, I don't understand all that.
Okay, so I don't either.
I know there's temporary work visas.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and technically I believe that they're supposed to apply. I don't understand it either, but what I do understand is the pettiness of certain promoters and figures in wrestling to kind of blow the whistle and be
seriously?
like, "Oh yeah, it's happened. It's happened a couple times with Canadian wrestlers who were coming down through Detroit to work. That someone's like, oh yeah, I know there's a car of people coming down saying they're visit friends and family. Look at this flyer featuring all of them. As
Are you kidding me?
I think
Dan, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I'm not saying that's what happened to Mike.
Petty, right?
So petty. Mike Bailey was on a trajectory of being really buzzing, and he was doing all the bookings, and somebody I think blew the whistle he's not coming down here to visit friends and family, which technically he wasn't. He was making money, but why you want to rain on someone's parade like that? So, and now he's been gone for 6 years, because if you violate that, you're banned from the U.S. for 6 years.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah,
that long?
Bailey has not been around since 2014, I'd say. About 2014 is the last time Mike Bailey was active in the U.S.
So what about when, Shaza McKenzie?
Okay.
Her, because I know she had reached out to me.
She's Australian, New Zealand, yeah.
But coming over here for a couple months, and she wants to take a bunch of indie dates. But we didn't have shows for March and April, and she'll be here. So when someone like her comes, what does she? If she's just coming to do indies and she's not, say, working for a major company, what does she apply for? How does that work? Does she just a temporary?
Now I don't
know.
I'm just gonna make an educated guess. I believe that the restrictions are kind of more severe for other countries that touch the United States. So we're talking Mexico people and Canadian people cannot just be doing that, because it's so easy to just pop, 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 pop. An Australian coming over probably is going to be staying for a lot longer, and maybe they're a little bit more lenient, or
Well, I know with all the countries, there's a number of work visas that they approve like per year. I guess that's so there's not like a mass exodus of their own domestic workers to another country.
Sure.
So that's like if they run out of work visas, I guess they just turn everybody else down. But I think with the limited things, they like, a limited engagement, like 2 months over here or something to work a bunch of indie dates. I guess they would treat it more of like itinerant or a migrant worker,
right?
Where we'll get workers here for crab season, for example, or something like that. But I know, I work in a college and we have a lot of students that come over on work and school visas. And so I know that there's a number of them, like that just when they're gone, they're gone. But that's about all I know about it. So I'm guessing it's something like that they just might not have any more work visas to issue for whatever time period. So, which I understand why people then would just get in the car and drive across the border.
Right.
Because
it's not that far of a drive.
Right.
And
it's not like they're taking away, jobs from other people. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit different.
Well, it is going to be good to have Veda back. But man, what a challenge!
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
She's
Megan Bain. What an impression she has made here in MCW.
Yeah. She's money, man.
She definitely is money. I would predict that we are not going to be able to see Megan Bain as often as we like to see her very soon, because I believe that it won't be too long before someone sees that vision.
Was she on Dark?
I believe she's done Dark.
Okay.
This month, right?
It won't be.
Yeah.
She's definitely been down there.
Won't be long.
Yep.
Won't be long.
I
Mark
thought I
my
remember
words.
seeing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be an exciting contest, and I would like to see Veda having a distinct size disadvantage. What her strategy is going to be against such a large Amazonian of a female
dominating
competitor?
presence,
Indeed,
in the women's division here in MCW.
Yeah, she walks that aisle. She, she's just the total package. Pardon me, Lex Luger.
All right. Speaking of total packages, the next match coming up is Brian Cage versus Action Andretti.
Wow, now that is a dream match if I ever saw one.
Yeah, I always, Brian Cage works so well with guys that work that style, so much more so than most guys his size.
It's almost like it's a specialty.
Yeah,
I've seen him fight Leo. I've seen him fight Rich Swann, and they're always like just amazing.
Amazing
Yeah.
match. Yeah.
So I expect nothing less when he steps into the MCW.
And something interesting about Brian Cage, what I really like and respect about him, I like Brian Cage a lot. I have for a couple years. I've tried to use him when we can. A lot of guys that start to get a name for themselves and they're on TV, they worried about getting hurt. Like, what can I do? What little can I do?
Yeah.
Can I just, come to the ring, walk? You know what I mean? Some of them don't even want to. Some of them don't. I don't even want to wrestle. I'll just do a signing. Brian Cage always wants to steal the show with his matches. So when I book him, it's not about, even then he texts me and it's like, hey, I want a kick-ass match with someone that can go. You know what I mean? Like he wants, he doesn't want to come in.
Don't want to coast.
He doesn't want to coast. He doesn't want to be lazy. He doesn't want to come in and just sign. He wants to come in and throw down and go. And for a guy that's on TV and got a contract, you know what I mean? And probably does really well for himself. He doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
But he just, wants to. And that's, I really respect and like that about Brian. He wants to come in and have the best match on the show.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Action Andretti will be his Huckleberry because he likes to go too. He likes to sink his teeth into a nice, meaty contest. And we've seen that. So Brian Cage, the machine, or what he calls himself, the effing machine, you're going to have a tall, short drink of water standing right across the ring from you in the current Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup champion.
Well, that brings us to our next match. It is a 6-man tag with Andy Weinberg, Ryan McBride, Sam Adonis, taking on Pat Brink, Alec Odin, and the return of Johnny Crab Cakes.
On the last match for Johnny Crab Cakes of Jimmy's Famous Seafood.
Oh, he's going to retire after this.
Yeah, he said his wife is, he's getting older. His wife, he's super busy with the restaurant.
Oh,
Wrestling
for
fans,
sure.
if you're not an MCW fan and you listen to this, you probably heard of Jimmy's Famous Seafood.
He was our second guest.
Well, and everybody from Roman Reigns to The Miz.
Respect him and love to see him,
Bray Wyatt, they're always tweeting about it and going to Jimmy's Seafood. Jimmy's Famous Seafood, and John's the owner. and known locally as Johnny Crab Cakes.
Yeah.
And he's going to be getting in the ring for the one last time. Will be interesting. Well, I wanted more interesting in seeing Andy Weinberg in the ring competing.
Oh, yeah.
Suckered into this.
Andy's one of the most colorful characters that has ever stepped foot into the MCW arena.
That
so
is correct. Yes.
I know a lot of fans will be looking forward to seeing him get his just desserts. And I wouldn't be surprised if Johnny Crab Cakes is the one to serve it up. Yeah.
And we'll be interested to see Brian McBride, King McBride, and Sam Adonis haven't been getting along too well.
Yeah, dissension amongst the ranks of the winner's circle. So who knows? Alec Odin and Pat Brink might be able to use that to their advantage, just to plow the road for Johnny Crab Cakes to beat up Andy one last time.
You're smiling over there. I feel like you would enjoy watching Andy get beat up.
Well, you know, I did an interview with Andy at the Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup because Rosario was busy and you were busy and everyone was busy. And he was so insulting to me. Dressed down my green suit and yeah, just so I wouldn't mind seeing him get punched in the mouth either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to keep it real. But yeah, 6-man tag team extravaganza. I couldn't think of a better way to close out MCW at last call. Yep. I mean, it won't be the main event, but you know what I mean. Like a wild and woolly battle.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. We haven't seen Sam Adonis for the last 2 shows. I think he wasn't here. Yeah, so it'll be nice to see him come back.
He was in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in Mexico for AAA.
He's a busy guy too.
He's also in NWA.
Yeah, exactly.
He's with the NWA, Billy Corgan's NWA.
Got a full schedule.
He's really popular in Mexico.
Yeah.
How is his name? Do you know his name?
Oh my gosh, El Rudo. It's El Rudo Internacional. I don't remember. It's something that something where I can't roll my R's. You know, that's the one thing I've never been able to master.
Yeah, so he's busy. He's all over the place.
Yeah,
he's out there a lot.
All right, well, let's take a quick break and
we'll come back.
We'll come back.
The last couple matches.
Yeah, we'll go over the rest of our matches.
We got like 4 down, 5 to go.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right. See you in just a few minutes.
Since 2013, MCW Pro Wrestling has hosted close to 100 events in Joppa, Maryland, at the building that has become known as the MCW Arena. During the past 8 years, the MCW Arena has become a venue that has hosted some of the most memorable moments in company history. Matt and Jeff Hardy defending the Impact Wrestling Tag Team titles and subsequently winning the MCW Tag Team titles in a match that aired on national TV. Lita wrestling her first match after 10 years out of the ring. Leo Rush making his pro wrestling debut and wrestling his final match before signing with the WWE. There were also historic moments for the professional wrestling industry as a whole, such as the very last Piper's Pit on July 18, 2015. And the final public appearances of WWE Hall of Famers Chyna and Mean Gene Okerlund. On Thursday night, December 30th, MCW Pro Wrestling will hold our final event in this historic venue as we present Last Call at the MCW Arena. Doors will open at 6 p.m. for the pre-show meet and greet with an 8 o'clock bell time. We would love for you to join us for this monumental and emotionally charged event. There will be 9 huge matches, including AEW stars The Acclaimed, taking on former MCW Tag Team Champions Seduce and Destroy. The Hawaiian Warrior Kakoa defends the MCW Rage TV Championship against Brandon Scott. In a women's division match, Megan Bain goes one-on-one with Veda Scott. AEW star Brian Cage takes on defending Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup champion Action Andretti. For the MCW Tag Team Championship, the champions Black Wall Street defend against the team of Miles Hawkins and Killian McMurphy. The MCW Women's Championship will be on the line as champion Ray Lynn defends against Ring of Honor's Quinn McKay. And in a 4 corners match, Dak Draper, Ken Dixon, Dante Caballero, and Moses will compete for the opportunity to challenge MCW Heavyweight Champion The Mecca, Brian Johnson, in the main event and the final match in the MCW Arena for the MCW Heavyweight Championship. Fans, do not miss this historic event. It's Last Call at the MCW Arena, Thursday night, December the 30th. For tickets and more information, log on to mcwprowrestling.com.
And we are back live right here in studio. And we said it wasn't going to be a typical MCW cast because we're going to be doing the pre-show, essentially, of MCW Last Call. But we do have a special guest in the room with us.
We do. Hi, Dan.
Yes, Ken Dixon, welcome to the MCW cast. Our first returning guest ever.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And I couldn't think of a better person to come on twice and then you.
He's got a big match coming up on Last Call, but if he doesn't mind, I'd like to kind of maybe go through the couple other matches before we get to his.
Well, do you mind, Ken?
Do you mind? Kind of get your opinion.
Yeah. I would like to get his opinion on some of these other matches, actually.
Yeah. All right. So, Tara, you were giving us the tale of the tape, as it were, before we went to break. So why don't you roll with the punches and let us know what's next?
All right. Well, we left off with a 6-man tag team match. And now we're going to pick up with a regular tag match with the Acclaimed versus Seduce and Destroy.
Now, this is one of Ken's old partners in the Dixon line. And the Acclaim themselves, Max Caster, where did he come from?
They're all from WrestlePro.
That's right.
Is he a WrestlePro guy too?
Yeah. Those Brian Myers and Kurt Hawkins.
So he was from up that way. Anthony Bowens
is as well.
Yeah, well, he wrestled for us a couple times.
Oh, right on.
You know, I think he did a Shamrock Cup.
Yep.
I must have missed that one.
4 years ago.
Yeah, we were like right before the shutdowns. Because I remember having a discussion about him. I remember having a discussion about. Like, I actually noticed him. He had a YouTube show.
Oh, it was a very popular YouTube show
with his boyfriend.
Indeed.
And I thought it was great. And I thought it was great that he was, one of the first people that I really saw coming out and doing that. I thought it was great that he was doing that. And I talked to RJ and Dean about him, but he was really getting hot on the indies around that same time. He was starting to kind of get out there, and we tried to book him a couple times. But it wasn't too long after that. Then the next thing you know, all of a sudden he's in AEW.
Yeah.
So I really liked him. But I didn't realize Max Caster was from Creative Pro too.
Indeed, they both are Creative Pro prodigies, along with MJF, Chris Statlander.
Man, what a great school!
Oh yeah,
what a great school.
Produced a lot of
Statlander's from there too.
Oh yeah, it's
kidding.
a lot of. They're all
Bear
New York
Country.
kids. Yeah, Bear Country as well. Yeah,
Bear Country is man. They've really put some people out, huh?
Oh yeah, they are. So a lot of the times people hit me up on social media and they're like, I want to get into the biz. Where do I go? And I have pretty much my top 5 schools all around the territory,
depending
if you will.
upon where you live.
Exactly. That I'm like, you need to go there, and I can, run down, to pardon the expression again, the tail of the tape of all the different stars or people that have gone on to greater success. And MCW Pro is on that list, and Wrestle Pro is another one, NYWC Academy is another one. So yeah, a lot of great talent from up there.
And the Acclaim's one of those teams that they're kind of like sneaking up the back. They're like getting really over on AEW. They're not, I think they're kind of like sneaking up the back. Like people aren't paying attention or weren't paying attention to them, and they're on a rise pretty quick, but becoming a really popular team.
They certainly aren't bad to look at together. Personally, is the one thing that I feel, and then also with the way that Caster does the rap. It really hooks the people. We talked about this before. You hear the glass break, Stone Cold. You see the lights go down, the Undertaker. Well, with Caster, you hear that, yo, and everybody knows, oh, here comes the Acclaimed with, Bowens as always faithfully alongside him, but just those kind of signals that are like the signatures of this guy's coming down, I think is kind of one of the keys to their success. And they look charismatic, great gear. They look good in the gear, but Seduce and Destroy are no slouches, if you ask me.
Former MCW Tag Team Champions.
Yeah. And also not bad to look at.
And that's a team that came
Joe would
together.
be happy to hear that.
Well, oh, bro, too.
That's a team that came together kind of organically, but out of necessity, because Bro's original partner wasn't able to make a show. And the pairing of Joe and Bro happened. And
Was that during the shutdown tapings?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we had him and his original partner booked, and Bro's original partner, and Dame.
Yeah.
Yes. And
he stopped wrestling, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, they are no longer wrestling. And yeah, so then Joe, the two of them came together, and I have been thrilled with how they've been together. Like, I have to say, they had chemistry. They really clicked, like, right off the bat. Like, they've done a really good job. So I'm happy that they've stayed together, and it was definitely more than a one-night show.
Yeah, you know what I call that? Magic. No, I'm serious.
Okay.
Tajiri Mikey Whipwreck. Another example
you
of like
go.
just magic.
Yeah, I forgot all
like,
about that.
Yeah, but that's kind
Yeah.
of, to me, was a hallmark of ECW is Chris Chetty, Danny Doring, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, these two, like, you know,
Throw-togethers, right?
Right. And then magic. They're working together. They're hitting double team moves. You're like, wow, these guys must have talked in the back, you know, or, you know, so it's kind
And
of like,
chemistry's a weird thing in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it just happens. And it happens sometimes with people you don't expect it to happen to or happen with, and it just happens.
Or two people you think are gonna have good chemistry, and it's a complete dud in the ring.
you're right with me, sis. You know, totally. It's like,
Absolutely.
wow, you would think that these guys would, you know, tear the roof off any building, and it's just like, ugh. Yeah.
Right.
So, and that is not Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, and it is not Brooke Heller and Joe Keys. So I can't wait for this tag team extravaganza at Last Call.
Yeah, Joe's a machine. I just feel bad for anybody that has to stand across the ring from him. Joe's got a chip on his shoulder, and I feel bad for anybody that has to get in the ring with him.
Oh, yeah, he certainly has a chip on his
he's a killer.
shoulder. Remember the last time he was here at the MCW cast? We did the Miles Action Joe three-way segment.
Yeah.
And Joe was
Let him
just
have it.
ripping into the company, the championship committee, and letting everyone know the way that he felt. And that's translated to the way he's in the ring. You know, he's not taking no you know what from anybody.
Next up,
Four corners match.
this is Ken's.
Yeah, this is Ken's moment here. A four corners match for the last shot at the MCW title at the MCW arena.
Oh, so the winner of this is getting to fight Brian.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well.
Yep.
Whew.
Yeah.
It's a who's who right there.
Dak Draper, Dante, Moses, and of course Ken Dixon.
I guess it's a lot of pressure, right? I mean, the winner of this match is going to wrestle the last match in this building.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a lot of pressure, but like, I feel like this is it. Like, just everything that I've done in here since day one, like literally day one in this building, like, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, you were one of the guys in that initial class when I got dwindled back into opening up a wrestling school.
Our plan worked.
I know.
I'm still trying to figure out how that happened, because for 10 years I said, no, I'm not doing a wrestling school. Absolutely not. And then all of a sudden, I guess I'm doing a wrestling school again.
As soon as you said you signed that we had that building the next whatever for the April show, I remember we were at the green room, and as soon as you said you had the building for April, I was like, can we run birthday parties? And you're like, okay. All right, so then we're going to need students for that.
Right.
So
One thing
yeah.
led to another, and here we are.
So now I saw an internet poll this week or last week asking fans who they thought they wanted to win this match. And Ken, when I last looked, you were the man in the lead.
It's crazy.
Yeah, by a lot. I mean,
By a
like,
lot. Yeah,
you
it's
were
pretty crazy.
And that's one of the reasons I asked Ken to come in. Not just that, but on all the like social media channels that were that it was put on. Yeah, Ken overwhelmingly was the guy that, like, our fans were like, we want, you know what I mean? we want to see Ken Dixon get this opportunity.
I don't know what it is.
Was it surprising as much as you hated him for so many weeks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I gave them so much grief for so long, and I guess we found a bigger than Brian Johnson.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
So there's only room for one of us. Yeah, I was really kind of shocked by that.
Well, and you really took it to the next level because, like, Brian Johnson doesn't have really a social media presence the way that you did. So, like, you really let the fans have it for a number of years.
Yeah.
I mean, I seem to recall a few complaints about Ken Dixon's being mean to me online.
Yeah,
Kian's insulting me.
There was some
Remember?
where it was
I
kind of
mean-
like, eeks. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
somebody,
don't be mean to him.
Somebody threatened to do harm to us with weapons here once. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
right.
really got under people's skin.
I
So
forgot all about that.
That means you're good at it.
to come full circle.
Yeah, almost too good.
But now look, you've come full circle,
Yeah.
and these people who probably the same ones who you've insulted over the years are
weird.
now like, we want Ken to be this guy.
And
to
you
have
know,
this moment.
Yeah.
and
to
you
be
know
this guy
something. I mean,
go forward.
honestly, not to take it back to myself, I can relate because I was a heel ring announcer at first, and it almost seemed like that around the time that I did that whole thing with Joel, where I was like, "Those are my by God fire exits." The fans
That's
were
when
like,
it turned.
"Well, they were." It seemed like
The
they
thing
were
is-
waiting to cheer for me, you know, and I almost feel like that's the same phenomenon that you experience. Like,
That's with that. Those fans were pissed
yeah,
when someone else announced the fire exit.
right,
I mean, it was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous because they hated you.
yeah. I was,
But when one show like you couldn't do, and Joel went out there and announced the fire
They were
exit,
like,
the
"Oh,
fans
no,
were
you
like,
don't."
"Oh no, you don't!"
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're feeling like.
Yeah.
Brian Johnston is coming in
Yeah.
as being a bigger, you know what? Oh no, he's not our a-hole. That's our a-hole, you know.
Yeah.
So.
They found someone they
Brian's
hate
the new
more.
guy. I mean,
Right.
I get it. You know, I think in
new guy in the company. 'Cause
yeah,
he's not new
yeah,
guy.
he's not
in
new.
wrestling.
He's not
got-
new in wrestling. He's new here. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think a few years ago, Brian and I would have got along really well.
Mm.
And we're not. I mean, we're not strangers to each other. We trained at the dojo.
Mhm.
When the dojo opened to when it closed. So we're not strangers. But he's in my house. So he's the guest. And I feel like he's taken a couple of liberties with, you know, putting people's names in his mouth and kind of bad mouthing the building and the company. And the Mecca Championship Wrestling stuff doesn't work for me.
Wouldn't have worked for RJ either.
Too many guys have come in here and busted their asses for him to come in here and walk around with this little flag and all his Philly nonsense. Like, it doesn't fly. So now I get an opportunity, and I'll see what I can do, man. That's a tough lineup. But
That's 4 top guys.
it's 4 top guys. Like, yeah, 3 of those guys are featured on TV regularly. You know, I get in there once in a while, but that's a lot of talent. That's a lot of talent. You know, we'll just see who wants it more.
I am particularly not a fan of the 4 corners survival style match because, quite frankly, Ken, you could go out there and bust your butt. You know, hitting every move in the book, your signatures, controlling the thing. And at one point, if your head is not on a swivel,
Yeah.
someone like a Dak Draper, you'll hit a move. Dak will come up from behind, toss you, 1, 2, 3.
Sure, I've done it plenty of times.
You've done it right, yeah. So that's why
That's the fun part.
That's
You think that's fun?
that's the jeopardy in those matches.
Yeah. It's like 4 corner survival. Like if you don't have your head on a swivel or have someone out there watching your back.
So I think people forget that in these kind of matches, the rules are a little more relaxed
Indeed,
than in a
yeah.
traditional wrestling match. And as far as doing, you know, things without rules here, I invented nasty in this building. I think I've done way more nasty stuff in this building than any of them. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and I'll put myself, you know, toot toot.
That's right.
As far as, you know, knowing where to do things in this ring and, you know, where things like that are going to go down.
How to take that violence up a couple other notches and you know, surprise these guys with what it
We'll
is.
see.
Yeah.
You know, it's
You had a lot of big wins in your career in this building.
You
too.
retired Drolix.
Retired Drolic.
yeah, we see how that went.
But then he came back.
Temporary.
there.
That's on Phil. I didn't approve that.
Yeah, the Phil.
Yeah, that was Phil. Phil had something shady going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Shady
going on
side
with that.
dealing.
We'll talk about that another time. Yeah, it's just I've had to, you know, I guess, you know, we're looking at things a little differently now. In the last year, I've had to change a lot of who I am. You know, there's been a lot of changes for me professionally and personally, and the perception of who I want to be here in this building, in this locker room. I want to be more than what I was, and I want to be the locker room leader that RJ trusted me to be. So I feel like morally obligated that, like, it's not about the title for me. I would love to wrestle in the last match in this building. It's about everything that we've done here. It's about, like, Brian's disrespectful and then on a different level, and I don't like it. So I'm going to do what I have to do, and we'll see what happens. But if anybody's going to shut Brian up on the last night here, I want it to be me.
How confident are you, Ken, that if you survive this war with 3 other top-tier guys, that you're going to be in any condition to really, step up to the plate? Like, you're going to suffer some damage. Anyone who wins this match is going to suffer some damage. And then they're going to take a fresh Brian Johnson and, odds are stacked against you,
It's tough. It's going to be a long night for whoever ends up getting that spot.
I don't mean to address the elephant in the room, but as I look at Moses, I look at Ken, Dak, and Dante, they're all stellar competitors, but they're going to fight each other to survive and to go on to get the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's kind of a dilly of a pickle.
Well, if we push pause for 1 second, if you don't mind, Ken, talking about that, we got 2 more other matches.
Yeah.
to go
Okay,
over,
yeah.
and we can come back
We
to
don't want
it.
to stick too much on that one.
Yeah, we have the MCW Women's Championship.
Yeah,
Another
Women's
big match on the line there. Ray Lynn versus Quinn McKay.
Which is really, I can see the fans are excited about this one. This is a, anticipated. Raylan, since really kind of coming back, and we're really trying to refocus on the women's division. She's just been a great flag bearer.
Oh, yeah.
I think
She's
for the end.
She's
She's like
spunky and cheerful.
and a
People just
workhorse.
naturally like her.
and a workhorse.
Yeah.
And just someone that when I started, like she had been trying to work for MCW for a while. Anybody I've asked, from Mickey James to Renee Michelle, anybody I asked that I know about, hey, this girl Ray Lynn, everybody is just sung her praises, and I see why.
Yeah.
It's just really good talent, a workhorse, and she's been a great champion. But this is, a big challenge. Quinn McKay's coming in, and a lot of people didn't realize, your regular wrestling fans, she became known as the announcer in Ring of Honor for so long because that's the role they gave her. But she was a wrestler.
She trained with us at the dojo.
Yeah, she ended up. You're right. She ended up training at the dojo as a wrestler, and that's what she was. She just kind of became, what's the term, like with movie typecast?
Or
Typecast.
saddled.
Yeah,
saddled with being the backstage correspondent. I can relate.
Because she was so good, and with the glasses, like her personality, she's so good at that. People just, they kind of like emotionally attached to her.
Yeah, well, you're used to seeing that individual fill you in.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, are we going to have you fill everyone in comfortably, or are we going to give you the opportunity to wrestle? And thankfully, she did get that opportunity towards the end of ROH.
Yeah.
Angelina Love, I believe she fought, and
what a beast she is! Just in unbelievably physical shape. And
Yeah, I think it's funny that people keep calling her an underdog, but like, look, she doesn't look like an
She
underdog.
doesn't look.
yeah.
I mean,
She doesn't look like
she
Spike
was
does
in
look
roller
at me.
derby.
Yeah.
You know, like she's tough.
She's kind of a badass.
She's tough, right?
Yeah.
Height doesn't have anything to do with it. Us
Yeah,
vertically
you're
challenged
right.
people
Short
to
people
stick
always
together.
say Dynamite comes in small packages.
Well, it's
so we'll see.
It is true.
well, they're both kind of short in stature.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean,
that's 2 kegs of dynamite that are going to explode right at last call
Yeah.
for the MCW Women's Championship.
Nonetheless, the fans are excited about
Absolutely.
this.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing this. It's going to
Yeah.
be a great
for sure.
championship match.
Yeah, and and the fans have been asking for years more women in MCW, more women, and now it's this. We're able to bring that. I can't remember a time when we regularly had 2 women's matches on a show, and we have for the last several shows had multiple women's matches. So
Yeah, and that's my goal.
think
That's what
it's
I'm trying to
great.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
I-
Me
it's
and you
great.
have talked about it. I think there's just a lot of really talented women out there, and a lot of them want to work for us too. A lot of them want to work for us too. So I've been real happy. They really just, that you went through like phases, right? Like where, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was all the lingerie matches and that's all it was.
Yeah.
But then it evolved to where women were wrestling, but the stink that was on it was like, all these girls are bad, they can't wrestle.
Right.
The girls that were out there. So it was like promoters, you would hear, there's a lot of these girls on the indies, but a lot of them aren't that good. And that's the way it was. Well, now it's there's
Not no more.
Not
Right.
no more.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. There's
Yeah.
a lot of really talented women out there, and I'm happy to bring them in.
A lush crop of female competitors that are quality
right.
are now in our midst, and I couldn't be happier about it. So yeah.
All right. Next up.
MCW Tag Team Championship. Black Wall Street versus Miles Hawkins and Killian McMurphy. We just had Killian on the cast last week.
Now here's a throw together team like you
Yeah.
were talking about before, but
Yeah,
they
the
obviously
trade.
doing pretty good. The trade, they start getting these weird videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
They got a little luck on their side.
yeah,
True.
Seems like they've been getting some good matches.
Mhm.
get
picking up
good
some
wins over.
Mhm.
They've beaten a lot of former champions, former tag team champions, and I kind of like them together.
Yeah, it's like someone's watching out for them.
It does seem that way, that they've had a
Mhm.
little bit of luck or fate or something on their side. Maybe a puppeteer, a puppet master there in the wings that I don't know.
But this is definitely their biggest challenge.
Oh my
not only
gosh,
the
yeah.
MCW tag team champions,
Yeah.
but talk about two veterans of MCW. Both of them have held between them all the championships in MCW multiple times.
Yeah.
Won a Shamrock Cup.
You get Drolix on a bad day and he's going to eat those two alive. You know?
I mean, Chuck's not a slouch either.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you're
no.
with
My
both
head
of 'em.
partner. I was gonna say the same
I've
thing.
been
Yeah,
in the ring
don't
with
sleep
both
on the
of 'em.
paper
Yeah.
They're
man.
both good.
True.
And like
Yeah.
the way they tag together is,
Yeah.
I don't think we have any other tag teams like currently active
Flawless.
that have the relationship those two have.
Mhm.
Right.
I want to shout out to Chuck Lennox and say happy belated birthday
Yeah.
to him.
Oh,
had a
well, if we're
birthday
doing
last
that,
week.
happy belated birthday to Quinn McKay as well.
That's
Oh,
the same day.
thank
right?
you.
Same-
really?
Yeah, I think we shouted
Okay.
it out on our social media on the
Oh,
actual
all right,
day. But
all
both,
right.
happy belated birthday to both those mighty Sagittarius.
Definitely the
Okay.
most seasoned team.
I think Miles
Of
is a
everybody on
December
the
birthday
roster.
too.
No,
No?
no.
It's not. Okay, sorry. I knew it was somebody in this match. I'm sorry. It was Chuck. All right.
Well, very good. And this takes us back to the main event,
Yeah, the MCW Heavyweight Championship.
which is going to be one of you four guys
Yeah.
for the MCW Heavyweight Championship. Last match in the MCW arena.
Mm-hmm.
So we have on the lower third of every edition of the MCW Cast, Ask MCW Cast hashtag.
Yeah.
I'm challenging our 108 followers on Twitter to cast their vote. Hashtag Ask MCW Cast. Who do you think is going to be standing across the ring from Brian Johnson at MCW Last Call?
And if you're letting us know you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube,
Yeah.
it's streaming, tell us in the comments section.
Yeah.
Want to know. Ken's sitting here watching. Who do you guys want? We've been watching the polls, and it seems Ken's the overwhelming choice.
Yeah, let us know who you want or who you think. You
Right.
know, we want to hear from you is the point. So ask MCW Cast. We want to know from our followers, who do you think it's going to be?
Which, and I don't want to overlook someone here too, because I've just been so impressed the last couple months with Moses.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a guy that, besides the fact he broke my ribs, cue the dog. Like I still haven't let that go. It's just been like 3 years ago. Q, I'll forgive you one day. No, but I've told him, I've told him this, man. Just like the promo package and his matches that he had with Brian Johnson, he's really taken like stepping out as a singles wrestler.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And coming out of his own, his promos, his in-ring work is top notch.
Yep.
And I've just been, especially thinking back to where he started, how far he's come. And I think kind of, probably Khan, him, like Khan moved to Texas.
Yeah.
That's people know, because a lot of people, I still get these questions like inbox on Facebook and stuff like what happened to the Soldiers of Savagery and MCW. Nothing. It was any broke up. Just
Right.
Khan moved to Texas, and for personal reasons, and he's, across the country. But you can look on his social media, and he's doing a lot of,
He's killing it.
he's killing it, doing
Yeah.
a lot of, he's winning titles in
Yep.
Texas, winning a lot of singles titles, and ends up on AEW Dark. I think that maybe kind of was like a moment to Moses. Like,
Oh, yeah.
but woke him up, like woke up a beast. And,
A dog. Woke up a sleeping
woke,
dog.
woke up a sleeping,
Look, man,
cue the dog.
Yeah.
Moses has never been a slouch in the ring.
Oh,
no.
I just think
Never.
I think like this latest little, this run for him, this separating has been just eye opening for everyone else, because now you get to see like what kind of machine this guy is. Like he's always been one. And we got to the dojo and it was rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
I've
mean,
been-
we
I've been
really
really
saw that
impressed.
since from the Bruiser Rumble on. He's really been
Yeah.
Just-
Brian's been getting by on the
Yeah.
skin of his teeth,
right.
getting away from Moses.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and that steel cage match was something else. I mean, I figured it could go either way.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a combustible situation. I do not like Brian Johnson. I'm with you, Ken, about the way that he's been running down our home base. And you know something, I want to say this to you. I really noticed something from the fans at the Bruiser Strong Battle Royal when it was looking like you were going to be one of the last guys competing there. And if you would have polled those fans that night, they wanted to see you.
It felt good.
Yeah.
It felt that way.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in the cards, I guess.
Well,
what got me.
Yeah.
We're going to see if maybe it's in the cards for us to relive that moment, you know, kind of a full version of it. If you could, you know, top Moses and Dak and Dante.
Yeah. Ken, I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did Boom get his beer for Christmas?
He's got to win. He's got to win.
To the victors, victor goes
I
the
know.
spoils.
The last show, I kept
would
seeing him
He's
backstage
trying to steal my
looking for
beer.
it. I know.
I saw the videos.
I know. I just
He's
thought
trying to
maybe
steal my
in the
beers.
holiday spirit, you might have just maybe
No.
gave him maybe a non-alcoholic beer.
No.
Maybe at least no. Okay.
Is that the deal? He's got to get
okay?
win.
He's gotta
He's
win.
got to get a win.
Yeah.
But at the
He
last
wants to
show,
drink,
he was
but
backstage.
He was trying to steal my beers, and
Yeah.
Action Andretti owes me a beer, by the way.
He-
Because he spilled it all over the ground. Action Andretti owes me a beer if he's old enough to buy any.
Oh my! Well, he's probably
well,
pouring some out for the homies.
I
But
just
yeah, like Boom's
I
got to
felt
win.
bad
He's
for
got to win.
Boom, though,
And when
you
when he
know?
finally gets it,
yeah, it's gonna taste so good,
I
right?
think so. I think he's gonna have to savor it because he earned it.
Yeah,
Like,
All
what
right.
good is it to just
he
give stuff
waited
to
this
people?
long.
Nah, I just thought
He's
maybe in
gotta
the
earn it.
holiday spirit, you might have just maybe
Ken
gave
Dixon
him a little
doesn't
drink
believe in
or
the holiday
something.
spirit,
Maybe one day
Tara.
UNICEF will start a wrestling show. We'll
There
give
you go, right?
But until then, he's got to earn it.
Oh my gosh, maybe he could be like one of those adopted children,
That's
Where
kind of
they-
what I'm doing.
where they
You pretty much
you
are,
don-
yeah.
You donate in those little milk
Somebody's
boxes,
got
you
to.
know.
You're his big brother.
I guess.
Well, he does seem to look up to you. He does want to please you, but I just wanted to see if maybe in the holiday spirit we got to finally know that.
Maybe I'll let him
he would
come
have a
out.
little
He can
taste.
watch me drink a beer.
There
Oh,
you
that-
go. That'd probably be
you know.
sweet for
He
him.
could bring you a beer
He
if you
could
win.
bring you- he could open your
Fatal
beer.
four-way.
He probably could. I would be
Yeah.
okay with him handling that. He cannot consume.
Okay, well, if he's going to bring you a beer for the Fatal 4-Way, then Dante's got his own bartender too.
Well then.
Yeah,
What are we
Bull's
just
gonna
gonna-
have to serve up some coquito.
No, I think Bull's still dead from when Alec.
Oh gosh,
Tap.
yeah,
Oh my,
yeah.
that was,
I saw that video when I was in Virginia Beach,
Mhm.
and he got run over by a freight train.
he did.
Yes, indeed, he did.
So he's probably still home resting.
I don't think we've heard from him since.
Hey, he's in traction, probably.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that was something.
Intense.
Did you
Yeah.
guys talk about that 6-man tag already? Was that? Did you guys talk?
Oh
about
yeah,
that
we
one?
talked about Odin.
Yeah,
and,
we
and
talked about it,
Pat.
but we can go back to that.
Look, I mean, that's going to be ridiculous. 'Cause I think there's experience on one side of the ring, but then you got guys like Pat and Alec who are just freakishly strong, and John's pretty strong too.
Mhm.
I seem to remember him picking me up and giving me a good throw a couple years ago.
He gave you the F3, right?
It was
The F3
My
and a half.
shoulder's never been the same.
He gave you the F3 and a half.
Yes, he did.
Not quite the F5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see what he's gonna do. It's his last deal, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he says.
He wants to go be
So he
dad
says.
now or whatever he's gonna do.
I mean, sometimes these are the most. No disrespect to anyone else, but sometimes these are the most entertaining
Yeah.
because you got a Johnny Crabcakes and you got an Andy Weinberg, and we don't get to see them that often.
Mhm.
So it's almost like
Mhm.
that they might go all out. They might think like this is my moment, time to steal the show and close this place
Right.
out. And who knows? We might see Andy on the top rope.
Oh man.
You never know.
I just want to
So-
see what sign Bobby Harris is going to bring to this.
Oh.
That's all I want.
Oh, he's gotta
Multiple
be
signs.
loaded.
I'm-
Yeah.
Loaded.
He is at home right now, furiously scribbling away, making his collection of signs, and I just want to know
Yeah.
what he's
Big
bringing.
chickens and
Definitely
yeah.
Fruit Loops. I saw him the other day. I saw on like the MCW, like on one of the posts, he like blew it up with
There's
like
8 comments. And it's just all these different
8
signs.
comments, pictures of Fruit Loop boxes. It was all Bobby
Yeah,
Harris.
there was a
Yeah. I saw. I was like, what the hell?
I thought Fruit Loop underwear or something.
Oh,
That was
the other
Bobby. I think he
day.
blew it up.
Yeah.
Bobby
Mhm.
like blew up one of the posts on
Mhm.
Facebook.
Well, Bobby, we love it.
Yes, absolutely.
Keep
this,
on, keep
This
on.
is what makes our fans so special.
Indeed.
Well, we want you to be here.
Yeah.
We've got just
Oh, yeah.
2 days
48
left.
hours away. If you're watching this live when this is airing, we're 2 nights away.
Yep, you can get your
Um,
tickets at hideawaycollectibles.com. You can get tickets at the door, of course.
And the first couple rows are sold out. At
They
this
are.
point, I
Rows
haven't
1 and
checked in a
2.
day or so, but it may only be general admission.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not
It
sure.
may be some ringside. You
I
got to
know
check.
Rows 1 and 2 were sold out before Christmas.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. This is
yeah.
It's still surreal talking about this.
I know.
And
That this is going to be in 2 days, going to be it, the last show.
Mhm.
Like it's kind of it's real, but it's not. So I think our fans feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen a lot of comments on social media. I had some inbox messages from people that said, "Oh, hey, you know, I went, but I haven't been in a couple years, but I'm coming back
Mm-hmm.
for the show." Like one guy was like, "Man, I used to come all the time, like 2013 through 2016, 17. It's been like 3 or 4 years, but he's driving an hour away with 2 of his kids. He's like, we're coming to this show."
Wow.
You know what I
That's
mean?
awesome.
So I think we're going to see a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just coming out for the sentimental, the sentimental aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, if not for any other reason, you might want to come to see us cry, because I remember Michael's when we had our last show at Michael's. It was
well, at
it's
least we're not
emotional.
shutting down, and that's
yeah,
the
that's
other
true.
thing.
Yeah,
We
We
yeah.
need to make clear, because I have answered that, even
Yes.
though it's
Good
been
call,
clear.
Dan.
I thought
Right.
in the post, we are not shutting down MCW. We're just this building. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Right.
So we'll still have other buildings. So that was a big moment back in 2003, because it was the end. Totally, we shut the
Right.
company down for a couple years, but
Mhm.
we're not shutting down. But
Right.
it is the last. And there's a great commercial that was put together by John.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And Danny Mays on
Yeah.
the MCW social media that you can go and look at. It's about 2.5 minutes. It tells the story of many of the things we were talking about. Some of the big events, not just in our company's history, but in pro wrestling. I
Yeah.
mean, what's a bigger deal than the last Piper's Pit to ever
Right.
happen with Roddy Piper happened in this building?
Yeah.
So, I think it's
Yeah,
gonna
between
be-
here and Michael's 8th Avenue, those are my 2 memories of MCW.
And that's gone,
really,
too.
Really. Oh, I know. It's crazy.
You know, that was during the shutdown. That was a sad. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
remember
wasn't
seeing-
as attached to that building.
Not as
like, I mean,
attached,
because
well-
like I was saying at the beginning, you weren't in this segment, Ken, but
Right.
we were talking about how we literally built this building, like
Yeah.
from the walls to the wiring and the
Everything.
lights and
Yeah.
all of that. Like our work is everywhere, you know.
Do you remember, like, not to drag this on, but I didn't remember this. I was saying, and you weren't here, you weren't in the studio, but I was having an emotional moment with Leo, like after he did a surprise at the last show. And when he was with his parents, and I was saying goodbye to him and thanking him, and he basically it's like he's about to have this emotional moment. He's talking about looking around, and I'm like, and he's like, and there's so much I think of, and one of the things I think of is how you and RJ told us we had a mandatory meeting, and we showed up down here, and there was like 15 gallons of black paint. And
Yep.
do you remember
were there,
this?
weren't you?
Yep.
I really don't remember
We had a
doing this.
paint party.
I definitely remember it.
I remember
RJ told
painting the
us we had to
building.
be here.
I remember the painting the building, but I don't remember suckering everybody into a mandatory meeting. But to be fair, I had just as much black paint all over me
Yeah.
as everybody
You
else.
got dirty with everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Larry, you were talking earlier about all the Christmas parties we had here.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah.
you've been sharing some pictures on your social media. You know, we all have something that connects us to this building, you know, but it's not just the building, it's us, you know,
Mhm.
like
Yes.
it's all of us who have been here through whatever building, you know, whatever things that have happened in the past. You know, we all are still here, and that's what makes MCW.
That's right.
Really,
And
you know.
That
we
being
want to
said-
see all of you here 2 days from now, 48 hours,
Yeah.
MCW
That's right.
last call at the MCW Arena. Tickets still available at our official outlet.
Yep. Hideaway Collectibles, if you are still looking for some, you know, post-Christmas gifts or something, maybe
Mhm.
your kids didn't get everything they asked for, send them over there, pick up some cool collectibles, and, of course, pick up your tickets for the next show on December 30th, Thursday. A Thursday night show.
Mm.
Wow.
Well, that's how we used to do it.
Yeah, we did Wednesday nights for
Wednesday was
Wednesday
the- yeah, at
nights
Michael's,
for how
yeah.
long? Didn't bat an eyelash at that, you know.
That's right.
Didn't have any trouble filling seats either. But kids are home from school, so this is a perfect opportunity for a Thursday night show.
Yep. Well, for all of us here at MCW, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. For Ken Dixon, Dan McDevitt, and the heart of MCW, the lovely Tara, I'm Larry Legend. We'll see you all at MCW Last Call right here at the MCW Arena.